Hi, Chris McClune here for the FDIC Product Network, brought to you today by 3M Scott Fire and Safety. They are our sponsor for this segment today, FDIC International and Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment Magazine. Today, we are going to be going over the 3M Scott Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA. We've got a lot to get to for that, so I don't want to delay. Today, my guests are Jason Cannon. He's the Fire Segment Activation Marketer for 3M Scott Fire and Safety, and David McPherson, Global Application Engineer for 3M Scott Fire and Safety. We're going to start off with a video real quick, and then we're going to roll right into Jason's presentation. So let's roll that video.
Good morning, good afternoon. As Chris mentioned, my name is Jason Cannon, Fire Segment Activation Marketer for 3M, and joining me today is David McPherson, Global Application Engineering. We are excited to be here today to talk to you about the 3M Scott Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA, along with the newest addition to our SCBA portfolio, the 3M Scott Vision C5 Facepiece with E-Z Flo C5 Regulator. Next slide, please. Certified to the latest NFPA 1981 and 1982 2018 edition standards, the Air-Pak X3 Pro was built on a foundation of redundant safety features, providing the reliability and durability that firefighters have come to trust, with a focus on enhancing cleanability, comfort, and connectivity to evolve with the changing landscape of today's fire service. Next slide, please. So let's start with cleanability. With the focus on exposure reduction in the fire service, 3M Scott designed the Air-Pak X3 Pro soft goods using high-performance materials to help minimize absorption, combined with an easy-to-remove harness for cleaning and machine laundering. A spare harness kit enables field replacement at the user level, helping to minimize service turnaround and avoiding costly out-of-service downtime. An optional quick disconnect regulator supports individual firefighter personal issue and also aids in cleaning and disinfecting. The regulator may be cleaned using soap and water and disinfected using an approved 3M disinfectant. And don't worry about getting the inside of the regulator wet. It's recommended for proper disinfecting. Next slide, please. As we move to comfort, when you think about comfort, you traditionally think of how something feels. But we wanted to go beyond that when developing the Air-Pak X3 Pro. Comfort is more than just physical. It also spans psychological and respiratory comfort. So when we consider physical comfort, we made several enhancements to the Air-Pak X3 Pro. For starters, a naturally articulating waist pad allows the SCBA to move with your body, helping to minimize restriction during use. Unlike traditional mechanical articulation, which relies on a ball and joint, natural articulation uses webbing to provide a swiveling movement. With the waist belt fit snug around your waist, much like wearing a belt with your pants, weight is transferred to the hips for a more balanced load. Now, as we move from physical comfort to psychological comfort, you may ask yourself, what is psychological comfort? What does that mean? It really is the peace of mind, knowing the SCBA will perform in critical life safety environments. As a firefighter, you have enough to worry about. The reliability of your SCBA should not be one of them. The redundant safety features of the Air-Pak SCBA are time tested. A dual stage pressure reducer helps to provide breathing air to the user and also incorporates an automatic backup in the event of a failure. And best of all, it's one of a kind. Finally, we move to respiratory comfort. Last but certainly not least, it's the ability to breathe when you need to without overexertion. With the Air-Pak SCBA and E-Z Flo Regulator, we have always enabled firefighters to breathe easy. Now, with the new E-Z Flo C5 Regulator, which Dave is demonstrating, firefighters can breathe easier. Next slide, please. And finally, connectivity. So what does it mean to be connected? We all live in a connected world. Connectivity is the ability for two or more devices to communicate bilaterally. In this instance, when we talk about connectivity, we're really talking about accountability at your fingertips. Using the SEMS 2 Pro wireless SCBA telemetry, the Air-Pak X3 Pro enables vital communication between firefighters and incident command. When paired with the 3M Scott Monitor telemetry software solution, incident command can see a firefighter's air level, pass, and evacuation data, all standard telemetry essentials for fireground operations. A unique feature of the SEMS 2 Pro wireless SCBA telemetry system is an electronic personnel accountability report, or EPAR for short. With EPAR, incident command can electronically check the PAR status of firefighters without the need to broadcast over the radio. With the simple touch of a button on the computer interface, a signal is sent wirelessly over the network, providing a visual and an audible alert notification to the firefighter. The firefighter then sends an acknowledgement back to incident command with the click of a button on the pass console, which Dave is demonstrating. The EPAR feature helps reduce excess radio traffic in those situations where communications are critical, while also maintaining personnel accountability on the fireground. Next slide, please. Another key pillar of the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA is the as long as you own it warranty. One of the driving considerations when reviewing total cost of ownership, warranty support is critical for any product, but especially for the SCBA, as it provides a lifeline to the firefighter. It is important, however, to remember that a warranty is designed to guard against manufacturing defects. It does not cover normal wear and tear. With the as long as you own it warranty, you are covered for your lifetime ownership of the SCBA. This latest warranty from 3M Scott speaks to our confidence in the product and our commitment to you, the customer. Next slide, please. Complementing the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA is the new Vision C5 Facepiece with E-Z Flo C5 Regulator. Designed using a platform approach, the Vision C5 Facepiece with E-Z Flo C5 Regulator incorporates the latest technology to enhance situational intelligence or situational awareness in a customizable solution. Featuring a wider field of view to see more and a new regulator designed to breathe easier, the Vision C5 Facepiece and E-Z Flo C5 Regulator is the perfect companion to the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA. Next slide, please. Now, let's look at some of the key enhancements to the Facepiece. To start, wider field of view, helping to see more and improve situational awareness. A single reflex face seal, designed for enhanced comfort and easier donning, similar in design to the AV2000 Facepiece. A removable head harness is designed to assist with cleaning and machine laundering. Again, piggybacking off the ability to machine launder the harness assembly of the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA. And then we also have dual voice mirrors. Nothing new to the 3M Scott Facepiece, but something that we've continued on with the new Vision C5 Facepiece. And this provides enhanced voice transmission on the fireground. Whether firefighter to firefighter or radio interface communications, The voice emitters on the Vision C5 Facepiece provide non-electronic, always-on communication solution. Next, let's focus on some of the key enhancements of the regulator. So with the E-Z Flo C5 Regulator, we have enhanced breathability to breathe easier. This helps to reduce user burden and improve operational efficiency. Enhanced communications. We have a reduced frequency or a slower vibralert that helps to improve two-way radio communications during low air activation. We also have introduced a new auto air saver, combining the air saver or the donning switch, depending on your preference, with the latch mechanism. This helps to simplify operation as well as simplify training. A recessed heads-up display. This helps to improve downward view through the facepiece. And then we've also expanded that same heads-up display to incorporate new status icons to provide visual alerts to the SCBA wearer for electronic PAR, evac or evacuation, and full alarm pass. And finally, we also have incorporated external buddy lights. These external buddy lights assist with remote identification of a user's SCBA air remaining. Next slide, please. So, the new face of firefighting, the 3M Scott Vision C5 Facepiece with E-Z Flo C5 Regulator. These are the perfect companion to the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA. Thank you for your time today. And now let's turn it back over to Chris for some Q&A.
Thank you much, Jason. We do have a few questions coming in. Again, if you have a question, please make sure you type it in the box down there on your screen. We'll get to every question that we can. If we can't, we will forward these questions on to 3M Scott Fire and Safety so that we can get them answered for you, or make sure you take a walk around the exhibit area and make an appointment with a 3M Scott Fire and Safety representative that are on hand today to answer questions. Wanted to talk real quick just about the NFPA standard. There seems to, it's always tough to kind of keep track of where we're at in the process with the revision cycles and things like that. But with the SCBA in particular, there seems to be some confusion around the latest edition of NFPA 1981. Is it the 2018 edition or the 2019 edition?
Well, that's a great question, Chris, and I hope you can hear me all right. The fact is, the standard refers to itself both as the 2018 and the 2019 edition. But the key thing to remember is that your SCBA must be labeled as meeting the 2018 edition of the standard.
Okay, and sticking with NFPA a little bit, just as a follow-up, on the fire truck side, most of us are familiar with a lot of the requirements that go when we're speccing out a fire apparatus. A lot of those NFPA requirements, but I don't know that people are as aware of what an SCBA goes through when the NFPA is putting it through its paces. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the importance of that the NFPA SCBA compliance, and just talk a little bit about what the SCBA goes through as it's being tested for that compliance.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks very much. And this is a great subject. We could talk for literally a half an hour about, I think, but I'll try to make it short. The fact that it's approved to an NFPA standard or certified to an NFPA standard means that it is tested above and beyond the things that a normal SCBA would be tested to. And each edition of the NFPA, each version of the 1981 standard has introduced further enhancements that have improved firefighter safety. We can go back to the 1981 version of the 1981 standard, and that's when we moved from demand to pressure demand respiratory protection, and of course dramatically improved the level of respiratory protection offered. And it was in fact back at that time that we even decided that firefighting SCBA should actually be approved as a NIOSH approved respirator, right? We moved forward from that feedback from firefighters, realizing what was needed to improve safety. So further enhancements were made, things like the introduction of an EOSTI, right? Heads up displays, RIC UAC connections, right? We move forward, we get to the next level and the next version of the standard, and that's when we introduced the idea that these should also be approved by NIOSH against CBRN, which really meant for a more robust design, right? It gives you greater confidence in the product when you're also responding to an event involving toxic industrial chemicals or TICs, right? We move forward, we get enhanced communications, right? We start to get data logging. And with 2018, in fact, we get, the advancements with the UEBSS, where now, if you have SCBA from various manufacturers, but certified to the 2018 edition, they are all now compatible in the buddy breather system. Also, we have the enhancement where now we are required to meet a stronger test, a more rigorous test around the interface of the mask mounted regulator and the facepiece. So that has to basically be stronger. It has to pass a strength and a pull test. Now, very proud to say that the 3M Scott product did not require any enhancements or changes to engineering to meet that new standard. But each of those things kind of speak to the importance of the NFPA standard and some of the tests and some of the features that go beyond a standard SCBA.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. We've got a few coming in. Some of them are dealing with the C5. I'm trying to sort through them a little bit. One question is the C5 regulator compatible with the AV3000HT facepiece?
No, it's not. We have deliberately linked the C5 regulator with the Vision C5 facepiece for optimal performance and so that everyone could experience the best possible experience. I know, Jason, if you'd like to add anything to that.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, Dave. I mean, obviously, one of the things that we've prided ourselves on at 3M Scott is to offer backwards compatibility, and in this instance, it was a very difficult decision, but given some of the changes to not only the facepiece but also the E-Z Flo C5 regulator, we did make a change to the connection and the interface, so that way customers would be able to experience the optimal performance between those two products, really as it relates to the breathability side of the product.
Okay, we have another NFPA question coming in here. And it's basically, we had it on our list to talk about a little bit today, the UEBSS and the EBSS and the difference between the two. But specifically with this, it was, can you expand on the buddy breather compatibility? Is it, are earlier versions of, if you have a pack that, or an SCBA that does not meet NFPA 2018, is that, does that mean it is not compatible with your with the new X3 Pro? Sorry, I tried to summarize a bunch of things there all together.
I'll try to answer a couple of aspects of that question, and again, Jason, if you want to jump in, that's great. But the previous 3M Scott EBSS system used a different type of fitting than is used by the UEBSS. It's a rectus type fitting that was chosen by the development committee. Obviously, they had to choose one in order to create that compatibility between manufacturers. So it is a different fitting. So no, the UEBSS fitting is not compatible with the EBSS fitting. Now, from 3M Scott, we do have a replacement part that's available for the 2013 edition SCBA that we sold, which does include the rectus fitting. So, in fact, if you have a 23 edition SCBA and you want to make UEBSS compatible, there's a part for that.
And if I could just jump in, just to kind of clarify there, as Dave mentioned, there is a change. A majority of manufacturers had to make the change to the fittings that they use, and of course the principle behind the UEBSS is to standardize the fire service on one fitting for mutual aid and interoperability. So it's a safety component. When it comes to the ability for backwards compatibility, the EBSS with the rectus type fitting It is approved for use and available as a retrofit option for those 3M Scott customers that are using either the Air-Pak X3 or the Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA, compliant to the 2013 edition standard.
Okay, moving back to the face piece, it's kind of a general question. Is there an attachment for the face piece that allows it to function like a face covering for COVID-19 protection?
So we do have an adapter for the AV3000HT, which enables the use of all of the 3M filters, cartridges, and combination cartridges. We do not at this time have the adapter for the Vision C5 Facepiece, but it's a logical step that you can anticipate seeing from 3M Scott Fire and Safety.
And just to add to that, if I could, customers certainly want a solution that fits a gamut of applications. And in a perfect world, we would like to be able to offer new products that meet all of those requirements right out of the gate. Unfortunately, just due to the submission, testing, and certification process, that just isn't feasible. So typically when you see a new product, namely a face piece as an example, that's introduced into the market, it will first be approved to the NFPA 1981 standard as a component of the SCBA, and then you'll see follow-on approvals that will come on for air purifying as an example, or to be used with a powered air purifying respirator. So as Dave said, those certifications, approvals, and compatibility will be coming. They're just not available at this time.
Okay, I've got another sort of multi-part question here. It's relating to COVID-19, but it's also relating to the quick disconnect regulators. Was wondering if you could demonstrate again how that removable regulator, how it all works together. Talk a little bit about what the idea was behind it. Was it just for cleaning, or was it for swapping out after jobs? And then third, how do the Quick Connect regulators help with current COVID-19 based policies that are being enacted by some fire departments?
Well, that is a bit of a boil the ocean conversation, but I'll try to get to all the parts. Essentially, having a quick disconnect on the regulator airline just creates so much flexibility with the product. Like you said, even outside of a COVID environment, the ability to disconnect, right, and then take it for cleaning. If you want to, you can separate it from the SCBA. The ability to have spares. So if I was to decide that I needed to clean my regulator, or wanted to clean my regulator, but didn't want to necessarily take the SCBA out of service, I can just simply have a spare regulator available, plug it in, and put the SCBA unit itself back into use, right? There's a growing trend towards having individually assigned face pieces. And now, especially with COVID, the idea of maybe individually assigned regulators as well. So again, makes it very easy if you can assign these two parts to a firefighter, right? But share the back frame and the cylinder and so forth, right? And the nice thing about the Scott design is even if you're on the fire ground, right, and you're in a situation where you need to change out the regulator for any reason, you do not even have to depressurize the SCBA, right? You can disconnect it while it's pressurized. Simply grab the spare regulator and connect it, and off you go.
All right, perfect. Now I'm going to
aspects of your question, so feel free to follow up.
No, I believe you hit on all of them. Wanted to wrap up here with just one more, and that is going back to the SCBA itself. Is the removable harness standard equipment on the SCBA, or would that be an extra cost for the department buying the packs?
Dave, I'll cover that if you don't mind. So the aspect of having a removable harness, that's a standard feature that's part of every Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA that we manufacture. I mentioned a spare harness kit that was available to assist and aid in cleaning and minimizing downtime or out of service time. A spare harness kit is not standard, but it is something that is configurable as part of the SCBA when a customer is making a purchase. And so if they feel or desire that a spare harness kit is something they'd like to put in their arsenal to kind of build into their exposure reduction efforts or program, they can certainly do so. And it's also available separate as a spare part as a later time.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Well, I would like to, I'm sorry. Go ahead, David. My fault.
I was just going to follow up and say there are some excellent videos on YouTube on the Scott Safety channel, the 3M Scott Fire and Safety channel, which demonstrates how they go on and off the SCBA. So if you'd like a little more information on the removable harness, that's a great place to start.
All right, perfect, guys. Well, thank you very much. I want to remind everyone to be sure to visit the 3M Scott Fire and Safety showroom after the session to schedule your one-on-one appointments. I would like to thank both Jason and David for taking some time out today to talk to us about the 3M Scott. Sorry, it's a mouthful. The 3M Scott Air-Pak X3 Pro SCBA. Again, don't just log out as soon as you're out of here. As we said, make sure you go to the 3M Scott Fire and Safety area to schedule your one-on-one appointments. We do have 2 more live demonstrations today, so make sure you check the event agenda there at fdicproductnetwork.com. Just wanted to go over real quick. Once we're done these live demonstrations today, first of all, they are all archived and you can go back and watch them again. So if you missed something that either David or Jason said today, you want to go back and take a look, you can go back in and watch these presentations again. But the FDIC Product Network show is not over after the live demonstrations today. We are covering different aspects, different products every month from now through December 2021. Coming up in January is going to be our personal protective ensemble themed segment. So make sure you take a look at that agenda as you're walking around today. Don't forget, you can also check each exhibitor's showroom for the products there. You can also see all the products that we're talking about in one long list and pick from them. So again, my thanks to Jason and David today. Again, this has been Chris McClune for the FDIC Product Network, brought to you today by 3M Scott Fire and Safety, FDIC International, and Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Thanks a lot, guys. Everyone out there, stay safe and have a good one.